you're ready.
I had assumed it. Yeah.
I think so.
Fogged up.
All right. I would like to call this meeting to order. Selectmen's reports. Any selectmen's reports? No. Old business, consideration of municipal review committee special meetings to discuss present status of coastal resources of Maine located in Hamden, Maine. Okay. Tony.
It's what we've done. We've invited the members to a special meeting, which will be primarily conducted in executive session. And it's a State of the Union, where we stand, status of the plant, and what we're looking towards. And in the joinder agreement, which that agreement was between the member towns and the MRC, there was a section for a name to be entered to receive notices from the MRC on behalf of the town. My name is in there. So since I'm going to be attending as a board member, that gives us an opportunity, if one of you folks is interested in attending that Zoom meeting tomorrow at 3. If one of you are, or you want to designate, I will have the link to that meeting sent to you, whichever person it might be.
Flip a coin.
I just know that somebody has to drive at 3 o'clock. It's either me or Ed. I don't know if Ed's available tomorrow.
Okay.
If it's, I mean, I can.
All right. I'll just sign up. I'll do it.
Okay.
So I'll sign up for that, Tony.
Okay, great. Thank you, John.
I don't care to right now.
Thank you, John.
Yep.
I'm interested. I just,
Well, you'll hear all about it.
I'm sure I will. Yeah.
And after, John, we can discuss what we hear tomorrow in our own executive session with the board
Okay.
at a later date. Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, Tony,
Thanks,
for
Tony.
for making that clear, that get our seat filled.
Can we have
Sure,
it
absolutely. Absolutely.
next Monday or Tuesday, whenever our next meeting is, to hear what the report from it?
Sure. Yeah.
Because we'll be, I mean, I think we're all really interested to hear
Yeah.
what comes
Yep.
out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is next Monday a regular time?
It's next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's
because of
holiday.
President's.
And I want to bring up that if you do your discussion, you should probably do it after the meeting rather than before, because of what happened last year with the third party.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have a
Yep.
room full of
Irate citizens.
Right.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Do that.
We couldn't have, if we had it at 6?
Well, last
Well,
time
last
you had
time
it at 6 and
We had a bunch of people waiting.
All the third party
They're all
people. I know, but
third-party.
if we're starting the meeting at 6:30.
Yeah.
Generally, what happens is you advertise the meeting at 6, and then you start business right after you get out of the executive session, so a lot of people may not pick up on that.
Yeah. It's caused some angst.
Yeah, you can't go into an executive session until you
Open the meeting. Yeah.
Right.
which means
So
that
it
people will be
confuses
showing
people.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whenever, I know we're all gonna be eager to hear what you hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So are we gonna do it after that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need a
And
motion
we're
on
only
that?
doing half.
No,
the
no,
request.
we'll just make
Right.
it.
All right. Okay, item B, consideration of Public Works Director Tony Smith's request for additional funding in the amount of $125,000 for construction contract administration and inspection services being provided by our project engineer Haley Ward for the Main Street Improvements Project as described in this February 10th memo to Town Manager Derwin Lunt, with said funds being taken from the savings and costs between the original design approved in the May meeting and the one presently under construction, resulting from the September 2018 special town meeting with a current balance of $665,189, which, if authorized, will leave a remaining balance of $540,189 in the savings. You want to elaborate on that at all, Tony?
Sure. Weather impacted this Versant's schedule for installing the poles. They thought they were going to be able to do it in a month. They ended up taking 3. The easement issues was one that legal spent a lot of time on. Haley Ward spent a lot of time on. The weather also impacted the production of RF Jordan, the general contractor. Typically, they would have been able to get more work done, but there was between 2 and 3 feet of frost in the ground, which slowed them down. And when Versant was in town with minimal crew by Jordan, I wanted the inspector here, that's the lion's share of the hours spent, to observe the work that Versant was doing, which did pay off in a couple instances when a person had a problem with their water service and another with a sewer service. So we were able to identify those very quickly and get them taken care of.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
You alluded just what you just described with that, the supervision on site, and then they were down to like a 1 person or a skeleton crew, and it stretched out our expenses just watching them for 3 months instead of 1? Is that?
Not 1 person, 1 crew.
Okay.
I hope I didn't put 1 person.
Oh, well, okay, maybe you did say 1 crew, but it took, as far as our obligation was stretched quite a long ways by their slow progress.
Yes, but in addition, that can be looked at as being offset by Versant being on site installing the poles, looking after our, I opted to do a similar thing when the water district was installing the water main, which was Jordan putting the water main in. They were doing very little of our direct work, but I wanted inspectors there looking after our interests, and so they could report on things.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
You're welcome.
I just had one quick question, Tony. I maybe I'm the only one because I work on Main Street, but the complaints, which anyway, I would say that if you take a picture of a construction site in February in Maine, it's not going to be pretty. And I would also just like to point out the fact that it would look a lot nicer if all of the utilities were buried. That's
Yes.
why the original plan approved by the voters of Mount Desert requested that they all be buried. And I won't get into the whole process that followed after that. I do believe still the end result is going to look nice, maybe not as nice as it could have looked, but it will still be a big improvement. So anyway, my one question was the old poles, Tony, do you know roughly when those will be removed? And just how do they go about removing all of those old poles? Considering they had such a
I do not know when they will be out. I'm pushing that they're out before Memorial Day weekend, and they would pick them up and pull them out of the ground or cut them off so many feet above the ground and lift them out in a similar fashion where they would lift them to put them in a hole that was already drilled.
We're not gonna have the caber toss happening out there then.
Pardon me?
We're not gonna have like the Scottish Highland Games caber toss.
Not that I'm aware of.
I will say, I think that would go a big way to cleaning everything up and making it visually much more appealing.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
no, good.
for a project, this is a tremendous amount of work in 1,200 feet. And you've nailed it, Matt. Even in June or July, it would look like a mess. But projects like that, of that scope, winnow down very quickly when things start getting paved, landscape planted, things start turning green when they get into the cleanup phase. And over 30 years, I've explained that to people on projects like this, that yes, it looks terrible now, but as you said, it will look nicer.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Okay,
So
I will entertain a motion.
I would move that we allow Public Works Director the additional funding of $125,000 as explained in the memo.
Second.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Update on the Boston cane, Claire? Okay, so I took the cane that you all saw last week down to a jeweler in Ellsworth where they confirmed that they can engrave it, so that it is gonna be in the process of being engraved as a guesstimate. It's about $50. She'll have a firm number for me probably by the end of the week, but it will be ready in time for the town meeting, special town meeting. I contacted Marie, and she is going to ask her son and his wife if they can escort her to the town meeting.
Nice.
So weather permitting, if she's able to get out,
Oh, great.
I would
that's
ask, and I don't know, I guess maybe we need to call Gloria or something to get permission that maybe they could park where the buses line up, you know, because she's.
Where is she? She's
Okay.
hiding. She's way over there.
I didn't see you back there.
I know.
But, yeah, because she's gonna be 101 in May.
Wow.
So I think the shortest we can help her in March would be good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Gloria.
Awesome.
That's great.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Claire,
That's
for
great.
doing all that
Perfect.
work.
Yeah, oh, and you might not have seen, but this is the certificate. I'll let you look at that. Any other questions?
No, so then, I mean.
What are we gonna do with the buying in bulk? We're gonna buy.
Well, that was gonna be my next question. How much do you want to approve? Say it comes in at approximately, well, under 100, but maybe $75 or so per cane. I don't know, under
How
100
many do
though.
we need?
How many have we given out in the last 10 years?
Well, let's see,
2 or 3?
people were very long lives. We had Connie
Well,
Madeira
and
and Bud Bordeaux, who both lived to be well over 100. So I would say, yeah, but no more than probably 5.
And then the engraving will go up as time goes on, but I mean, if
Right.
we had a half dozen canes in queue and then just plan to engrave them as needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah,
that's,
half dozen?
if you want to order another 6
Okay.
and then keep the information so we know
Oh,
moving forward.
It's in the folder.
Okay.
Not saying they'll still be available
Right.
in 10 years,
Yeah,
but you
but
know,
that's
I
great.
have it, yeah.
Very
So
good.
good, thank you,
Thank
Claire.
you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
New business, MDES budget review. Somewhere in that area is good.
Okay,
You wanna sit here, I can move.
it's okay, Chuck, I'm good. I apologize
Sorry.
for not having any visuals, I do, but I think my computer's tired and just gave out. And, so in the spirit of the past 2.5 years, we're just gonna move forward. I will send you my presentation because, I couldn't be more proud of our school. And, we've got some pretty cute kids, and I would like to share that all with you. So I'll make sure I send that to you when I get a new computer, and this one's back up and running. I want to take just a quick moment to speak to just how happy we all are to be together in our school. It is where we want to be, and the teachers, the staff, the parents, the kids, all of us are just determined to be there. And I'm just so proud of our community for all working together and communicating and keeping us there. 100% of our full-time staff are vaccinated, and 73% of our students are vaccinated, and that was, geez, from a month ago, and so I bet our numbers are higher than that. 100% of our staff take part in pool testing, which we do every single week, and 97% of our students take part in pool testing at our school. And students that aren't involved in pool testing, we're in close communication with families. Our pool testing results often come back negative, and we keep in such close contact with families. They share with us when someone's sick or there's a positive case in the house, and we're able to help support them and kind of guide them through at-home testing, or we can test at school for them. And so our community has just been remarkable, and we're so grateful. and we're getting through this. That's where we are. I want you to know also that between March of 2020 and December 31st, 21, we had 3 cases of COVID-19 associated with our school. January 2nd to now, we've had 45.
Wow.
And, so we were a little taken aback, and there was probably a week there, early mid-January, where I was a little nervous, but boy, we pulled through. We had a thoughtful community member anonymously donate 50 by next rapid tests that got us through kind of a low point, and we're back up and restocked, and we're doing okay. But this is definitely a whole new phase of the pandemic, and but we're holding steady. We don't have any substitute teachers, so we plan coverage for those of you that work in schools. It's a big puzzle that starts as soon as a teacher makes a request for leave, and then there's always the surprise out to the morning of. So I, again, am so proud of my staff for filling in. When some folks have to be out, other people rise to the occasion, and they'll just change places and take care of each other. It's really remarkable. All of that being said, we have, our most important focus this year is taking care of people physically and also taking care of people social emotionally so they're able to learn. Just for numbers for you, we have 148 students in our school right now. It is probably back 2006. I wish I had this all out for you guys, but is when the last time our school population was at this. It's about 152, I think, in 2006. And so it definitely is fluctuating. We have 18% of our student population is identified as special education students. 9% of our student population have 504 plans, and 4% of our population are labeled as gifted and talented students. We have a response to intervention team, which is essentially the academic leaders of our school, and it consists of our RTI coordinator and middle school literacy specialist, which was a position I brought on board last year, and our elementary literacy specialist, our math specialist, our counselor, our tech integrator, and our behavior coordinator. And we meet bi-weekly and coordinate all the assessments in the school, review the data, meet with teachers, they do consults with teachers, and support students who are needing some scaffolding or needing some more support or some more challenge, and work really hard to just meet all the needs of our students. So I'm pretty proud of our low percentage of special ed numbers in our school. I do believe that the interventions that we're putting in place and the collaboration between our teachers is really paying off, and the students are really getting the programming that they need. We are still continuing to get a free breakfast and lunch program. I don't know how long that's continuing. Yeah, Nancy, she doesn't either. So staffing, I want to talk about staffing for a second. We do have 2 open ed tech positions in our school. They've been open for quite some time. We also have 1 ASL educational interpreter position that's still open. I had someone hired, but they resigned before school started. Coming into this school year, because of just in preparation for, year 3 of the pandemic, I had 2 one-year teaching positions that are currently in the budget this year. And for the following year, I've just kept rolled those into full-time positions. The way it works, though, it's not necessarily, they may not be the grade levels that they are right now. When you're hired for a 1-year teaching contract, you would have to apply again if you're interested in a position. So let's see what else we have here. Our students, we did a data review. Oh, I wish I could show this to you. Data review from fall to spring of last year for math and for literacy. And our students' scores in math were higher than they were in reading. But our students, a majority of our students, over 50% in literacy and over 65% in math, were making their target growth goals. We want them to make a year of progress each year. And so our data doesn't necessarily reflect a school in the midst of a pandemic. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of the targeted supports we put in place for whole classes where necessary and for specific students when needed from our RTI team. So we're doing a pretty good job planning ahead and supporting everybody. For example, I have 2 teachers this year in our second grade classroom. Those second graders were kindergartners when our school shut down in March 2020, and online learning for kindergartners didn't really take off. They are just a delight. There's just a wonderful class. I mean, the kids are all great, but they needed 2 teachers in a targeted learning area, and I am really proud of the work that they're doing this year, and they're really settled with their teachers and they're growing. So let's see here. I want to talk a little bit about the additional items that are in the budget. We have the addition of an early childhood learning center. So not last year, but the year before, I was trying to put in a pre-K program in our school. And so we're looking forward to moving forward with the pre-K program. One change this year is it will be housed at our school. With COVID and everything, doing community partnerships right now is a bit of a challenge. And so we'll have a pre-K program at our school. And I had a great visual to show you. We did a universal design for our second grade classroom, which is currently in our cafeteria, and put in flexible seating and developmentally appropriate just configurations in the learning space for second grade learners. We're going to be doing that for our kindergarten classroom and for our pre-K classroom. And so the money that's in the budget for additional items are for setting up those classes for the needs of those learners, and also just a few adaptations for the pre-Ks outside. We need to have a retractable fence on the Gilpatrick side, so when they come down the back steps, there's a fence there, and then just head right into the playground instead. So those guidelines. And added $20,000 to the special education reserves. That brings us up to, I think, $80,000 in special education reserves. I think I'm shooting for having $100,000 in our special education reserves in case we need that. We're going to paint the gym. There's still primer in there from the renovation in 2002, and so we're gonna paint it. It's gonna be great. And our web-based clock system, we have a lot of different time zones in our school, and it's hard. It's really hard. And I'm finishing up year 6, and we can fix this. And so I've spent some time, Mr. Opal has researched a web-based clock system. I think similar to the high school may have this. I don't know. No.
We have lots of time zones at the high school.
Do you too? And that's hard, isn't it?
Yes,
Hard.
yes, it is.
Those old
Very hard.
systems are so expensive to repair, and they're
Yeah. So this is there'd be a screen in each room, and so the secretary's office too can send messages to.
Oh, so we have something like that. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and so that'll cut down on the use of intercom instructions and things like that. Water bottle filling stations. So these are great. We have one downstairs by the art room, one upstairs by the science room, and then I have 2 more water fountain spots that need to be changed. One up in the middle school wing, and then one in the gym for the kids to be able to fill their bottles up too. So that's in here. Been working with Mr. Oakwall about doing a system enhancement for a ventilation system. Brian Hinkle, actually. Do you want to speak to that? You know about this. You talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did improvements in the air handling system originally, early on, which was about filtration. And what's being proposed in there is not filtration exactly, it's sanitizing the air, it's that filtration. So it's everything in the building runs on forced air. It's all fully fresh air that comes in and goes through filtration before it's distributed. And there's a heat exchange system. And then after that filtration, I assume it's after, but in addition to filtration, there's a UV system that's being proposed to be added to that same venting system. So it'll be in the ductwork around the school, and that will kill anything, pathogens, whatever that comes through that doesn't get pulled by a filter. So essentially the entire school is going to have all fresh air coming in, it gets filtered, and then have pathogens filled by the UV system, and then that's what goes into all the two of the rooms of the school, and then those have individual filtration systems in them.
The one thing that we did take out of here is the garage and storage plan. You'll notice that's in blue. There's a line there with no amount there. There will be one modification to this budget. We were looking to have a new garage built at the school because we have very little storage. We also have a need for outside restrooms, and would like to have 2 unisex bathrooms in a new garage, and have a water bottle filling station there as well, so that when we host athletic events or camps and people can use that. We also could take down the sheds that are in disrepair along the side of the road, and get rid of the portalet that we rent year round. We would be able to store our 2 vans. We have 2 vans that we use frequently, but they need to be stored at the town garage because of snow removal, things like that. And so if we were able to store them in the garage with our tractor and other snow removal things, and we could also put our kayaks and our bikes and our skis and everything out there for storage as well. We were looking to move forward with this. We had a couple of estimates, but decided that the best bet would be to put some money in next year's budget to do some planning and looking at permits and getting all of that figured out, and then moving forward with the building project the following year. But we do have a shipping container storage unit out back too, and it's just bits and pieces here and there, and it just needs to be redone. So I'll be meeting Brian's on our building subcommittee, and so he, Leon, and I will be meeting and looking into that. We do have some other big projects. I have our priority list from the school assessment we did 5 years ago with Sealander architectural firm, and there's some insulation that needs to be done, some windows that need to be replaced, and some other large projects. And so next year, also our debt service is retired, and so we'll be having some pretty big conversations about next steps for that type of work. We have put off some maintenance work because of the pandemic, and as my staff, but we need to start really talking about and planning for taking care of some of these big things. So my goal is always, be fiscally responsible, but also take care of the things that we really need for our students, our community. Our buildings and grounds are beautiful. Bruce Tripp does such a lovely job taking care of our grounds, and Leon uses his own plow in the winter too to plow our parking lot. I'm really grateful for him. And the teaching positions, we have these 2 ed tech vacancies, and so there is a limit. When you're starting a pre-K program, you need a teacher for 8 students, and then another ed tech. And so we already have them in the budget. And so I'm pretty proud of that too. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Librarian, does that cover the salary for the librarian in the library?
Yeah, a children's librarian. And so Miss Robin has moved on from the Northeast Harbor Library, and Lauren White, who was an ed tech at our school for 5 years, is their new librarian, which is so good for her and so good for our students, but also so hard for us because she was in our school every day. But she is so familiar with our school and has really just hit the ground running, and so it's been a delight working with her. And yeah, so the funding in here is for the salary for the librarian.
And can you clarify that you said you had 2 positions, teaching positions already in the budget? And one of those is going to be a pre-K.
Yeah.
But you don't have you don't have a person at this point because the pre-K certification is different than the people you currently have, or is
Right. Well, I haven't gotten that far into the process yet,
Okay.
Jeff. That's a good question. And so, usually by now we have ideas of configurations. Our school's small, but the needs vary every year. And so we try to do a balanced approach for kids, sometimes straight grades, sometimes mixed grades, depending on what they need. And we're not quite there yet. I do know that our kindergarten teacher, Jackie Wheaton, is retiring after this year. But I don't know per se what grade levels will be advertised, but there will be 2. Right now, there's a 1-year position in 2nd grade, because remember I put 2 teachers in there. And there's a 1-year position in 5, 6 as well.
I just, because I mean, I know people can move around a bit. Most people have K-8s. The
Yes,
pre-K is an entirely different animal.
Totally.
Which makes it
yeah,
challenging.
it really does, yeah.
Okay.
What months do you have kindergarten sign up? So it gives you an idea, like, I assume you have a pre-K sign up too?
Yeah, that would be a next step, right? Putting a notice in the paper for any families that have students or children that are going to be 4 by October 15th, is that
So is
right?
that usually April-ish,
Yeah.
May, April? Okay,
So
so
do that.
it's all
Yeah.
coming down, okay.
Would we be looking at partial day pre-K or full day pre-K?
Oh, that's a great question, full day. Yep,
Okay.
and
Yeah, good.
we would also do, right, yeah,
Yeah.
oh boy. And so looking at using our buses as well and having 5-point harnesses on our buses. And so it's, it's a lot, it's different, but it's a community need. Kids need it, families need it, and really looking forward to starting that program.
And so that room will be kind of in the pre-K room? Is that kind of how you, I wish we had our visual.
I
but like-
do.
Because the kindergarten room is, I don't know, I haven't been in it.
Yeah, they're
I can
all
still
pretty much
picture
the
it.
same size downstairs. We do have a classroom that we could put a pre-K in. They
Okay.
need to have a bathroom in the room.
Right.
We still have a class that's in the cafeteria, a learning space. So we are, when you're doing what's best for the students, we are
Yeah.
bursting at the seams.
Yeah. Which is
I-
good, but
I know, but, and I can't take Dennis, when she retired last year, she gave me a folder that gave me a running record of the enrollment, and I wish I had that for you, that was on my presentation, but we had a lot of students.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the education has changed so much, so there's small groups and one-on-one that happen quite frequently, and it's just different, so. It'll be so great when you guys can come back and school, we can have parents and everyone back in this step. So I don't know where the rooms will be, and I don't know
numbers and stuff, yeah.
definite about the cafeteria yet.
And then, I mean, just more about the pre-K, because it is complicated. But,
It is, yeah.
The equipment and furniture and things
Yeah.
like that. I mean, where are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's all included in that, in that
And
funding.
what you
It's-
hoped, okay.
Yep, you got it. And so from storage to seating, I have, when I send you the slideshow, I can send it to you tonight. If my
Cool.
computer comes back to life. You'll notice how we've set up the cafeteria as a flexible learning space for the 2nd graders. So it'll be similar to that. We haven't replaced furniture in a deliberate way since I've been there in 6 years. And so some of the furniture and things the kids are sitting on are awful cute, but they're also very old. And
Well, that's exciting
Okay.
stuff.
it really is, yeah.
Yeah. Great, well, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
No, you're welcome.
And congratulations on the debt service retiring.
Yeah.
That's like $300,000, isn't it?
Well, it is, and
Yeah.
so, but it's time for us to really think
Well,
about,
sure.
yeah, but that's a
that's
pretty big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
but, yeah, our school is awesome. I'm so proud of the teachers, and I'm so proud and thankful to the community. We have really weathered this storm, and, I don't know, we have a great little school, so I really appreciate your support.
And your little Facebook page, I must say, is it's lovely.
Oh,
to
thank you.
see for someone that's not in the school,
Yep.
it's nice to see your little garden, you do great things, so that's.
So many great things.
It's nice to
Thanks.
see that.
Oh, I did have pictures of the garden too. And our garden program is wonderful. It's built right into our program. And so there's kids from the littles, from the 5-year-olds, all the way up to the bigs that go out there and help in the garden all the time. And they're so proud. And it's just a wonderful program, as Patty's got going.
And you use it in the lunch program too,
Yes,
some
yeah,
too, which
yeah.
is, I think, so cool for the kids to see, so. Great.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I'll send you my photos.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Gloria.
We don't need to do anything.
No, it's just for your review. Provisionally,
Yep. Okay. Authorize, item B, authorize the sale of the surplus equipment on behalf of the fire department by the competitive bid process.
this is pretty standard stuff.
Pretty straightforward.
What kind of equipment have we got with the surplus?
Well, he's got a list, but I don't have it in front of me, Jeff, so I don't know to guess.
And the funds coming from any sale, do they go into the general fund, or where do they
No.
end up?
That's a warrant article every year. It specifies that it goes into the fire department equipment
Okay.
fund, I believe. And there's also a memo, I think, that details what's being sold. There's a cast iron propane fed cook stove and a refrigerator, freezer, and then one metal desk.
Oh, so just a few relatively small items.
Or like-
That's the kitchen getting ripped out of so-and-so? Probably.
So I guess I would move that we authorize the sale of surplus
Sure.
equipment on behalf of the fire department by the competitive bid process.
Second.
All in favor? Item C, authorize the fire chief to determine the acceptance or rejection of bids and disposal of items that do not sell on behalf of the town.
Move approval.
Second.
And all in favor? That's Stairmasters going. Other business, any other business?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Thanks.
All right,
Great, thanans, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
So we're meeting Tuesday, and that'll be followed by an executive session.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? We don't have anything else this week?